spoke about integrating the vision. Do you have any distinctions about how to integrate our visions?
How to integrate a vision?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the intention is the crucial factor in obtaining a vision and obtaining healing and moving into an altered state for divination. In the Harvard project, we called it this phrase "set and setting," that the content of an expanded consciousness experience is a function of the set and the setting. Set is intention, or question or intention. Divination takes place by questioning, getting an answer. So then the key to integrating is also to have the intention towards integration. Because that then is the choice. See, intention determines where you direct your attention, doesn't it? If you have the intention of healing, then that's what you're going to attend to. If you have the intention, if you have a vision you're going to be a doctor or you're going to be a musician, then you would also then have the intention, well, I'm going to make that vision, I'm going to realize that vision. It would be your choice. See, a vision is not, it's guidance, but it's not commands, and it's not certain. You still have the choice. As we know, the gang in the White House is choosing not to listen to the visions that are suggesting a different course. People can do that. People can choose to go against their vision. They can choose to commit crimes and horrible things that they do. But they can also choose otherwise. That's what I would say to that one.
My question is, if you feel our defeat is necessary, what do you do to not abandon the current situation, the children of this time, with the Green Earth Foundation? What is your action for the present?
I don't feel defeat is necessary. I accept the fact that we will be defeated. I acknowledge that fact. And that fact frees me up from worrying about whether what I do will make any difference. It allows me to focus on doing what my vision tells me to do, which is preserve life as much as possible, and those of my children and those of the people that I come into contact with, and life, non-human life. That's why it's hard for people to get that thing about defeat, because we're living in a part of the globe that's doing okay, But we could be living on a dump heap, on a trash heap in Manila, and where 10,000 families are trying to raise their children on a trash heap. Now, is that civilization? Or is that a collapse of civilization? Does that answer your question?
How can you peel away the levels of the self and become more authentic and real, and yet still develop your ego in a healthy, authentic way?
That's one of those psychological questions. That if I were a psychologist, it's a complicated question. I don't know if I have any easy answers. The question, as I understand it, is about, the psychologists say you have to develop strong ego boundaries, and then you have these people called borderlines who don't have any ego boundaries, but then I'm talking about having a vision and an expanded sense of self. Isn't that going in the opposite direction? And some psychiatrists and psychologists have actually written that, and they said, well, people who have borderlines shouldn't practice mystical practices.
Right.
And that may be true. I don't know. That may be true.
In other words, with taking drugs, a borderline taking drugs, that would be self-destructive.
Yeah, but then so are a lot of other things that people do. You know? And maybe it could help sometimes. See, it all depends on the set and the setting and the inclinations. I'm very disinclined to make any general rules for people. You know, as somebody who works with people, all I go with is somebody comes to see and says they would like help in something, then I try to address that. I'm not really interested in building up a system or making generalities. And all the things I say, I don't really expect you to or even want you to really believe them or take them on faith because I've said them. They're like observations that I've made, and they may be true for you. Maybe, and that's for you to find out. I mean, that's for you to... so I would be reluctant to say to people, you know, doing that is destructive. But if I encountered a particular person, and I have said that to some people that I've worked with, you know, I don't think it's a good idea for you to be taking drugs. But basically, it's still their choice, and you have to respect that. I don't believe the teachings that you often hear that you have to kill the ego and you have to overcome the ego in order to become mystical or spiritual. I think that's nonsense, really. I mean, the ego is like your hand. Actually, there are many egos. The hand is one. Hand has an ego. The eye has another ego. The heart has an ego. The genitals have ego. You know, who was it? J.R. Grodek said, every atom has an ego. That means how many atoms are there in a body? That's billions and trillions. So you don't want to chop off your hand. That's ridiculous. But on the other hand, you don't, you know, the truth in that saying is you want your hand to be functioning under your control, how you choose, not your hand to be, you know, doing its own thing, which is called manipulation. So, good question though, thank you.